So welcome everybody. Very happy to have all of you here. Happy Mahavir Jayanti, happy Vaishakhi, happy Vishu, happy Ambedkar Jayanti. And if I have missed out on any celebration or festivities, then uh, sort of happy, tidings for that as well. Welcome to today's session. It's very, very interesting. I was just sharing with the speakers. We have Murli Krishnan joining us from Chennai. We have Anup from Delhi. We have Ashok from Bangalore, and I am in a small little village in South Gujarat called Kharwel. So extraordinary the power of technology, and I'm sure there are about 200 of you in different corners of India. So welcome once again. Just a little bit of context before I hand over the baton to Ashok. One of my colleagues shared the Smithers report last night, and it was an interesting one, especially in context of today's session. Basically, it identifies growth and technologies in digital print, and the number is quite staggering. It's about 136.7 billion. Of course, this is 136.7 billion globally and for the next decade. The headline from the report is a fairly voluminous document and very highly priced too. But it basically says that inkjet and the toner systems will continue to redefine market for publication, for commercial, for advertising, package, and of course label print, which is what we are discussing. And this is on the ascendancy up to 2032. The subtext to this document, if you sort of quickly sift through it, is the experience of COVID and pandemic and what transpired over the last 2 years. But basically, it emphasizes this. Of course, we're talking globally. The versatility of digital print in multiple segments and how markets are growing. And of course, they have looked at it, both from macro and from a very, very, in a very detailed perspective. The interesting number again for us to dwell upon is 5.7 CAGR for up to 2027, and then from there on it's about 5.0 from 2027 to 2032, which is how you yield a market value of about 230.5 billion in 2032. Anyway, the numbers are staggering, as I've already mentioned, but the takeaway for us sitting here in India is that print volumes in digital will be rising. And we are looking at something like 1.6 trillion A4 prints in 2022, rising to about 2.91 trillion in 2032. So this is again a CAGR of 4.7. Now, again, I'm beginning to sound like one of those economists who are there on the business channels and, we flash the numbers, but, the ground reality is always much, much different. So what does all these juicy numbers mean for the Indian industry's P&L in real terms? And more importantly, how does it translate in, or, what is the sort of traction we are going to get on the shop floor with customers and, the blood and sweat of actual business? So I have my own theories, but before I sort of, share that with you, I invite our first speaker, that's Ashok Pava of HP. He's joining us from Bangalore, and he'll do two things. Of course, he will, set the tone and provide the context to some of the macro data that I shared with you. But in addition, he'll also sort of dovetail into what is actually the gains that we can have from labels and digital press. So a quick short introduction. Most of you know Ashok. His official designation is Commercial Business Manager, HP Indigo Digital Press, India and Sri Lanka. He leads the digital press initiative in the Indian subcontinent, and he's responsible for market development end-to-end GTM activities, strategic planning, execution of the digital page growth, as well as sales and business excellence. I mean, there's a lot to read, but I think what we need to know are just two things. One is 20 years of experience in sales, marketing, and business management, out of which 15 years is sort of rolling up his sleeves in hardcore digital print industry in India. He also, up his sleeve, he has an MBA in engineering in printing technology. So welcome, Ashok, and the floor is yours.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ramu. Thank you so much, PrintWeek. I'm just sharing my screen. So just let me know if this is visible and it's on the
Yes.
slideshow now. Okay, right. Great. So good evening and happy new year to many of our friends who are celebrating this new year in the various part of our countries. So I always say good evening, sat sri akal, vanakkam and namaste. This is how I want to address on behalf of HP and our partners to each and every one of you who is actually taken out time from your festival day today and join us on this fourth episode of our show called Your Time Is Now. This is an initiative of HP Indigo along with PrintWeek to actually discuss the health of the Indian commercial print industry and more importantly, to actually brainstorm the high value, high growth, profitable applications and segment that we can look forward for our growth. And I assure you, rather, we assure you that the next 75 minutes that you are going to spend with us is worth your time investment on this good day for your business. And you will definitely go with one small, big, large idea either to grow your business or maybe to completely transform your business. So with this assurance, I definitely want to give a slight perspective on what really happened in last 2 years. And we all know that 2021 is not that good year for us. It was not an ordinary year. It was a year of social distancing, remote working, and of course, there are many events cancellations and no public gathering at all. And it actually gave momentum or acceleration to few of the slow changes which were happening in last 8 to 9 years, which is e-commerce acceleration, which is shifting of the consumer preferences, and most importantly is the localization instead of a globalization, right? We'll touch base onto this as well. Now, as Ramu sir has already said, the commercial market suffered in this turmoil time, right? We had a tough time. Analog actually took a dip, and digital was also, affected, but it was not as affected as digital, sorry, the analog. But the trend, the biggest trend which I want to showcase today is the rise of the short-run print. The short-run print actually tripled in the last decade, last 10 years, and this acceleration is one of the outcome of the last pandemic, which is the last 18 months of a COVID period. Of course, one of the after effects or the change of behavior which is driving one more significant change in our industry is the print e-commerce or ordering of an print online. It was case only in the developed countries before, but now we are seeing these changes in an Indian market, which means Indian print industry is also changing with the changing preferences of the consumer. And today, with one this survey which is done as a as a preference, we see that if we go to the brands today and the consumer today, they would love to actually give an order on an online for our printed material for one, and the basic reason is the fast delivery, which becomes the most important reason of this change. But again, this is one of an outcome. But what is really driving this change to all of us is again consumer and consumer, and we have to really deep dive into how this new consumer is going to be in a new normal. Although we are not out of pandemic, we are still trying to figure out what should be a new normal. But most significantly, it looks like that the new consumer in a new normal will be very demanding more than what they used to before. They want everything green, sustainable. Pandemic has given this sensitivity to all of us, and consumer is very well aware of it. And definitely they want everything their way, not our way. And if this is the consumer, brand is actually changing because their consumer is changing. Brand has to be agile enough to sustain their business in this changing dynamics of their marketplace. Their products and solutions has to be higher quality and creativity. They have to be eco-friendly. The solutions has to be sustainable. Food safety is absolutely, it's not a choice to anyone. They have to be they have to follow all the regulations, and definitely brand protections in coming in the picture. So if the brand is changing, of course, the brand is the one who is giving a business to us as a printer. So as a printer and a converter, I have only two options left with me. One is to take this opportunity and plunge myself into this dynamic change and grow along with this change. And second is, of course, hide from this challenge and wait for some more years to see that whether the dust will settle down in which direction, and do not take any decision. But this is one part of the story, and we Indian always believe there is always another part of the story. Every coin has two faces. Now, what is another face? So today we are actually going to discuss one big face change which has happened because of pandemic, because of various changes which we were making in India, is this rise of the small brands. We call it in a technical term, we call it as a startup, but definitely it is the rise of the startup in India. And of course, this was not an overnight change. Indian industries were working on this startup acceleration program for many years, but as I said, pandemic has given to acceleration to many changes, and this is one of the big change that we have seen. Now, if this is the change, let us see what is bringing this change in India. So India has become a startup nation. India is the third largest startup ecosystem in the world after China and US. All right, and in last year, which is 2021, there were 14,000 new startups which got started in India. The YOY growth is consistent, which is 12 to 15%. Today, as of yesterday, India has about 68,000, 67,947 DPIIT recognized. DPIIT is Department of for Promotion of Industrial and Internal Trades. This is a government institution which recognizes this startup. So we have 68,000 recognized startup, and the known startup to India is close to around 200,000, 2 lakh of the startup which is the known available to us. Every day we have 2 to 3 startup which is born. And the interesting part is women entrepreneurs are taking a good share into this startup journey. They do definitely help us to generate new jobs. Estimated 40,000 new jobs was given with the startup industry for us. So this is the good side of the last 18 months, which is the startup development in India. And we don't normally discuss number two, number three. We always discuss who is number one. So we are very familiar with the term unicorn. We read it in newspaper, we see it in TVs, Shark Tanks of the world. And last year, it was a fabulous year for us in terms of a unicorn. So unicorns are the startups which has reached to $1 billion of valuation last year, which is a big number. So last year, we had 44 unicorns, which has come out of the 68,000 startup, which started somewhere around 2012-13 onwards. And the valuation that we had was close to around $94.77 billion. And this is big. And these are the unicorns that we know. Now, if we know these unicorns, we should see what is driving this change in India for us. What is an ecosystem which is developing, and of course, it is a it is a corporate plus government support which is making this big change in India. So corporate has really seen the disruptive potential of this huge potential that they see, and now they are partnering and investing with them. Whether it is Facebook, it is Goldman Sachs, it is Microsoft, there are many corporate which are doing it. And of course, Indian government is actually supporting these startups now, whether it is Startup India portal, but there are many subsidies. To that extent, we have 26 states which have a startup policies with them, which means this is the best time for all of us or the startups to really enter into the game of India. Now, what does that mean to me as a printer? At the end of the day, it looks really interesting that, we have 68,000 startups in India. But as a printer, what does that mean to me? So here I want to make one single statement, or a simple statement, is that please see the people around you as a startups. You may have a confectionery, a shop, you may have a mithai wala next to you, you may have a beverages, a guy who is selling a big idea. He had a legacy of 3 decades of the business, but the new generation has come in, and now they want to expand their unique or differentiation, not only to a localized a city, but they want to grow the market to the next level, whether it is pan India or outside pan India. So we definitely have all these guys next to us. And as a printing and a packaging industry, as a part of a printing and a packaging industry, we are always a part of any brand or a business which happens in India. So whether it is in the form of business card, or it is in the form of marketing collateral, visuals, or it is in the form of label and packaging, we are an integrated part of any business in India. So if startups are growing, the business of print and packaging should grow, is growing. And there are few segments which is more important for us. One is, of course, the food and beverages. Second one is the healthcare and life sciences. These are few of the brands which are, which are in the startup stage, and the count that we have in a startup stage, and of course the retail. Now, these are the three categories which is most important categories for us. But again, don't see these categories as a small time, a homegrown startup. At some point of a time, they will really become big. So if you see the funding which is raised by startup in the first quarter of calendar year 2022, $10 billion, and this is third quarter in a row, which means every quarter the startups are getting a funding of $10 billion. Last year we had last quarter we had 334, and these are the startups which have grown and come to a stage. So what is it for me? So for me, I want to make this statement that the small is the new big. These small startups, these small homegrown companies, these small grown homegrown businesses are the businesses which is going to really grow big for us. And these businesses are actually eating away the share of the giants. Yes, the small startups are eating away the share of the giants, but there are a few very particular, specifics that we have for the startup. One is they don't have a big marketing budget. If you see the first, which is the Romantics, right? They did not have a marketing budget, but their product, their label was their marketing tool. So 140 different label design. Same way, the craft beer, which is popping up, huge business. I'm from Bangalore, and I know how big business the craft beer industry in Bangalore is, and how it is growing in the rest of the other cities as well. Again, this is an example. But the most important specific that I want to share is the survey which says that consumer wants to pay higher than a regular brand to the craft brand for a simple reason of convenience or an innovation. Which means if you go out and go and buy the homegrown product, the craft product, you may end up spending more than a regular product from a bigger brand. Which means there is a acceptance of that craft in a market, and brand is ready to sell it at a higher price. Now this is a crux of the whole changes which is happening. If the product is good, the services are good, and they can be sold at a 10% more premium than the regular product which is the market. The only help which the startup is looking out for us is definitely to help them to scale their business by giving them everything and anything that they want, right from an initiation or ideation to an execution to become a unicorn. So if I see it as a printer, we can actually give lot many services for these startup brand under one roof. If you see all these business cards to calendars to posters to coffee table books, to an extent of some of the labels, some of the hospitality and food related plastic cards and coasters. The startup need all these services. May not be a higher quantity or a large volume, but they definitely these quantities, and they want you to become instead of a print service provider, maybe they want you to become a market service provider and help them with all these beautiful collaterals to scale their business to the next level. But they can't go to 10 different printers. What they want is one stop shop where they can really get all these line items and help them to grow. Beyond this, as I said, the only base of growth of any startup is a differentiation, because they have a different product, they have a different services. That's the reason they are willing to sell it at a 10% of higher price than the market. So we also see larger opportunities in the printing and the packaging industry to help this brand with the differentiation. If you see the first, which is the marketing collateral, we are calling it as an exclusive collateral, where they are willing to spend more money on marketing collateral by using fine papers. Of course, promotional packaging, the product should really look good onto the shelf, and they are ready to pay more for the promotional packaging. Security is becoming more and more talk of the town. We can help them with security. We can help them with beautiful labels and go to market model, which is B2B and B2C. So these are the new different larger avenues that a commercial printer can really look forward to scale their business with a larger community of a startup which is available with us, which is 68,000 startup which is available with us. And why HP becomes an integral part of the offering through the print service provider or PSPs or marketing service provider, which is MSP, is because we can actually produce the right color, the brand color, the first time consistently every time. Not only this, we can give as many of the colors which is needed for brand to become differentiated, whether it is fluorescent colors or vivid colors or invisible colors, or anything that can make differentiation to the brand. We are happy to deliver those colors with them. Definitely, craft board, craft papers, specialty papers need a good whiting to print. So we have a good whiting where we can print beautiful stuff. And last but not the least, because these products are good, the display of this product on any printed communication has to portray the same product which is inside the package or the services, which means we need highly good quality and the detailed reproduction and the sharpness, including the fine and the small text, that too on a wide varieties of the papers and media's possibility. So here, one message is definitely we can help brand, but with one single Indigo press, you can actually cater to all these needs of the brands today, along with these requirements of the brand, including the security. Now, amongst all the 5 different segments that we chose about, which is the collateral, high value collateral from a promotional packaging and the label and other industry, I definitely want to back it up with some of the data. If you see the data, which is the label market snapshot, this is the global label market. So out of the total global label market, which is catering to bigger brands as well as the smaller brand, 54% is contributed towards the PS label. PS label is nothing but a pre-sensitized label, which is, we call it in a commercial term, we can call it as a, gum sheet or a sticker as well. And what is really happening is, if you see this chart, APJ contributes to around 45% of the total global market available in this category. Out of that 66 million square meter, APJ, Asia Pacific and Japan contributes to around 30 million square meter of that market. And inside APJ, we have India and China, which is the fastest growing market for this category. Now, this is our take, but as we work with you, we also work with the rest of the industry associates of ours. And today we have actually invited 2 of our associates, Mr. Murli from Every Denison and Mr. Anup from Sona, to give you more insight onto the 2 markets that we spoke about. One is, of course, the label market, and second is the fine paper collateral market. And here I hand over the dais to Mr. Murli. And Murli, over to you, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Murli from Every Denison.
Yes, we can hear you well.
Yes. Okay. First of all, I would like to thank very much to our Print Week and HP Indigo to give an opportunity to participate and then present something in this larger forum. So we, Every Denison, we are the global brand, and then we are manufacturing this label and functionality materials worldwide, and almost in all the industries, our label will be there definitely. And we have an headquarters in US, and then we have operations more than 50 countries across the world, and we have 36,000 employees worldwide, and they have contributed close to $8.4 billion revenue in the last year. And we are one of the Fortune 500 company. Our business is divided into 3 major verticals. One is the label LGM, we used to call it as LGM, label graphics and materials. And another one is the retail branding and then information solutions. And we have one more vertical called industrial and then healthcare business. So in India, we have 2 major plants. One is in Pune and another one is in Gurgaon. And we have one more plant coming up in Noida. Maybe by end of this year, that plant will be operational. And we have a distribution center in Kolkata and Bangalore also. And we have a sales office in Mumbai. We have a dedicated R&D for this particular product, our PS labels. So it is based out of Pune. And we used to develop the product based on the market need. And then if any customer is required any specific product and then application and then substrates. So we used to develop the product and then give it to them as per their requirement. And we have a knowledge center also based out of Pune, where we used to develop the skill sets, and then we used to give a demonstration and then training to the people, those who are interested to enter into this label industry. And mostly this particular knowledge center is giving we used to call it as converting college, where how to convert the label and how the label material can be selected based on the substrate and then application and induced application, so all those things. We have an iLab, which is clearly demonstrating our RFID tags. So how it can be used, how it is performing, and then how it will be very easy for making the larger retail showrooms and other things. So this lab also there in our Pune plant. First of all, we should understand what is the pressure sensitive label. So pressure sensitive label is not an independent layer or independent single individual component kind of thing. It's an multiple of products, and then it has been laminated together to become a pressure sensitive label. So the first one is a face stock, where we are doing the printing and other things, and then behind that there is an adhesive layer, and release coating will be there, which will not allow the adhesive to stick with that liner. And the liner is giving a backup to all the things together, and then face stock and then adhesive should be there between these laminates. So that's what the two overall pressure sensitive label. And then why we used to call it as a pressure sensitive label. So the adhesive will get activated once you apply the pressure. So once the label has been pasted, so we have to apply a uniform pressure on that, then only the adhesive will get activated. So that's the reason we used to call it as a pressure sensitive label. First of all, we have to understand why we need to enter into this business, whether there is a scope for this business or not, whether this business will give me a opportunity or not. So all those things we should understand. Then only we can show interest, or we need to take a decision whether we need to go for this business or not. So the left-hand side, you can see India is contributing only 11% of the PS market. There is a pressure-sensitive label market among the entire Asian countries. So by this, we could not able to take a decision that okay, we are having a India is contributing very lowest contribution for this PS industry, and we have to deep dive and then understand the other things also. If you see in the right-hand side, for the past 3 years, this Asia Pacific is growing consistently, and then the growth rate I have mentioned here. And then further, if you deep dive how the Asian countries are performing, so India is growing almost 13% year on year, so which is also giving a clear understanding to us that why we need to enter into this industry, because it is one of the growing industry in this printing field. And then PS industry always will support because the packaging and other things also growing consistently in India. So per capita, we used to call it as always per capita income, per capita revenue, all those things. So if you calculate this per capita consumption in India, it is only 4.4 square meter, and whereas the nearby country, if you take it away, the ASEAN is having 1.6 square meter. So even by increasing 0.1 square meter consumption in India, so it will give a lot of millions of business opportunities there, and then India is already doing it, and then we are also growing consistently in that particular case. And if you see in the left hand side, the segments which are all there contributing this PS label industry, so that also has been segregated here. So based on the regional locations, and then based on our interest and then our contact, we can able to select which particular segment we can able to enter into it. So food and beverages is the fastest, largest, and then fastest growing sector. And then healthcare and then pharma is fastly growing because of the COVID and other things. So we can able to select which industry or which segment we want to enter into this. So digital PS sheets, that also I have captured here to give a smaller perspective about this sheets growth. So this particular industry, that is digital technology for this PS industry, which is growing, and then it is one of the top 3 technologies in this printing technology as of now, which is growing very fast. And 12 to 15% machine installation is growing year on year as per the digital machinery is concerned. And 25% of our PS market is addressed by the sheet fed market only as of now. And if you take the digital, which is growing more than 25%, that is, I'm talking about digital PS market, which is growing 25% year on year, which we have captured last 3 years data. Even in COVID period also, it is growing compared to the other technologies. And also the digital technology will give continuously a complement and to the conventional process, and then it will take some share out of that. And that only I have covered here. So in 2020, the conventional press used to contribute 95%, and then digital used to contribute 5%. This is the market share which we captured, and which is expected in 2025. Close to 10 to 12% will be contributed by digital, and then offset, that is the conventional technology will lose the share to this digital technology. What is evolving, and then the dynamics which is creating the digital growth. So one is the local brands. So a lot of local brands are increasing day by day, and then the fastest e-commerce growing, which is happening across the globe, and then it is fastly growing in India also. And then shorter product life cycle. And we have the uncertain demand pattern, which is impacted because of the COVID-19, which is created a lot of uncertain demand in the market. And the major thing which we are finding it out during the COVID period is the availability of the labor and the labor cost, which is increasing. Which you can compare that how much labor is required for digital and then how much labor is required for this conventional process and other things. And everyone is started talking about the carbon footprint and then sustainability, and then label technology also nowadays people have started sustainable label face stock and other things. So one of the things is this FSC label which we are promoting very highly in the market. And what it means for this bigger brands. So the brand is looking for the mass personalization nowadays. If you take any brand, even HP Indigo has having a lot of the personalization has been done with so many bigger brands in India. And brand security, everybody is wanted right now. And then the premium shelf life, shelf appeal. So the people want that their product should have some differentiation when they are keeping it in the shelf. So there is also one of the reason to go for the most digital application kind of thing. And the fastest turnaround, the new product launches and other things which is happening very frequently in the market. And the last minute changes, the flexibility should be there to change the last minute changes in the design and other things. So these are all the things which is fueling the growth of the digital industry, digital sheet feed industry. And what is the advantage of digital? So in one simple word, if we want to say that what is the advantage of digital technology is the flexibility. So there is a lot of flexibility in this technology where you can able to do the changes at the last minute. And even if you want to do the changes in each and every label also, you can able to do it. And it is also reducing the cost of the labor involvement and the number of labor involvement in the operations. And then inventory control also you can able to reduce it compared to the other things. Whether there is conventional process, you have to keep a lot of plates and chemicals which has to be stored in your area. So here there is no plates and chemicals is required, and then you can able to, once your artwork is ready, you can go directly for the printing. And then when you are going for the conventional process, so to make a fine tuning and then to make the corrections and other things, it will take a lot of prints, which is going to wasted. It is getting wasted. And then here we can able to print only one single print, and then you can able to check each and every print whether it is okay or not. And then you can go for the next print itself with full corrections. So these kind of advantages and then flexibilities are there in this digital technology. Now we'll go to these segments. So segment wise, I will show you that what are the applications which is available for us, and then where we can able to do the focus. So consumer durable segment is one of the largest segment where we can find it out. Lot of label requirements will be there in this. So people may think that in this particular segment everything is happening inside the plant. So if I take a refrigerator or television or any other things, everything, the label and other things is happening inside the plant only. Where is the opportunity for me? If you go to any of the showrooms, and a lot of labels will be there, which is pasted, which will give the minimum and then basic required information about the product on the particular product. If you take the refrigerator, so what are the minimum basic requirement like this energy rating or water rating, and then how much the capacity, and then how fast it will give cooling. So all those things will be pasted by the showroom people on the particular thing. And okay, this can be printed in a normal A4 paper or something, and then they can paste it. So, but people will not accept it, because once if you are pasted a label, if you remove the label, then there should not be any stain on that. If there is a stain and then people will touch and then feel it, definitely even the product is very good and then excellent product, then people will refuse to buy because something is wrong in that product. So that kind of impression will come. So that's the reason we are finding people finding a difficulty to paste it in regular product. So they will go for the pressure sensitive label, where this label can be pasted and then can be removed easily also. This we used to call it as removable technology in our PS industry. So those kind of labels are there, and then this will be done by showroom people, and then every product will have an unique label, so where they cannot able to go for the mass production kind of thing. The other one, which is the health and personal care. So health and personal care, always people will, by seeing this photograph, will think that, okay, this is there inside the plant, and then this will not be there for us in the digital technology kind of thing. So any product which is getting launched, definitely it will get started with the digital only, because they are going to do with the startup, or they are going to do with the product launch with the very limited quantity, where the people print very limited quantity and then try it out, then only they will go for the scale up. And nowadays, there are a lot of new brands are coming and new variants are coming introduced by the big brands also, and they will start from the digital and then they will go for it. So when they are starting in mass production also, So there will be some of mitigations will be there. There's a shortage of the volume, or shortage of the label requirement will be there. Definitely they cannot able to go for another technology again, this offset or flexo, to meet out, because the time is the one which is really shortage in the nowadays. So they will go for this digital printing, and then they will meet out the mitigation or shortages which is happening. The other one is food and beverages. So food and beverages also, a lot of local brands are coming up, and then regional brands are coming up. And in this case, there are prefabricated pouches and then containers, bottles, everything is available, where people are putting their own stuff and then selling it out in the market. In this case, if you see, same pouch has to give my brand also and then your brand also. So that differentiation can be brought out only by the label. So where we need to put a lot of information on the label, and then differentiation on the label, which can be done by digital, which will not be possible for the other brands, because other technology, because they need to invest a lot, and then the inventory they has to put it a lot of things, and then volume they need to give to print it in a higher quantity to meet out their expectations. And FDA is the one which is widely talk about in this food and beverages products. So FDA, we have all the products as having an FDA, which is incidental contact for this food and beverages applications. And premium label finish, we have a lot of metallized label also, and then matte finish label also, which will give a premium look. And then we have a specific product which can be printed in HP Indigo, will give a different kind of finish altogether. This is an industrial and then household chemicals. So there are a lot of floor cleaners and the toiletry segments, a lot of products are there. And there are very big brands available in the country who is working pan-India. And there are a lot of local regional brands which is very strong in that particular region. If you take a southern region or in particular state also, there is a product which is having a good market share. So their volumes will be very less, and then they cannot able to go for higher technology kind of thing, and then they will definitely look for this digital. And then now in that also a lot of personalization is happening nowadays. So people is showing interest in this digital printing. The other one, if you see the bigger 200-liter containers, and then this we used to call it as carboy, and then this particular cans, bigger cans like 50-liter, 25-liter cans. So this label, if you see, it is a very larger in size, which cannot be printed in any other technology, because you have a limitation of the narrow web, which is there in that Plexo also. And then even in offset, you cannot able to give the volumes which is expected by offset. In 200-liter container, people cannot able to make lakhs and lakhs of volumes in a month. So definitely they need to go for a smaller size. So they will definitely go for this digital technology only. And in this also, the adhesive requirements will be entirely different, because this label should get pasted on that, and the label should not get fall down because of the roughness of the surfaces and other things. So we have a specialized label which will stick together, and then in the transportation also, the label will get upgraded together, and then it will lose the printed surface. And there also we have a different kind of products. We used to call it as drum label itself, which is widely used for this kind of industrial applications. Nowadays, these transportations and then the shipper cartons and other things are coming up. So these shipping cartons, we have to give the information. Definitely, it will be very different between one box to another box, and a lot of information should be there, and then it will be easily captured by the receiver or the sender also for the informations. And there are the alert informations also, and then cautions information also will be there. So it will be printed, can be printed, and then each and every label will have different information. Definitely they has to go for this digital technology. And we have different set of labels, because it has to be pasted on the corrugation boxes. So we have a unique label which can be printed all these informations. And nowadays this QR code, which is giving a lot of information, the QR code has to be printed. And from that scanning, so people has to understand what is the content and then what is the product. And then if anything goes wrong, what is the first aid and other things has to be done. So all the information has been put in the QR code, and then which is widely used in this shipping industry, shipping of the materials nowadays. And it is widely used in this e-commerce technologies also. The other one, we are talking about e-commerce. So e-commerce is growing significantly, and then the authenticity should be there. And then whether I'm receiving a product which has come directly from the factory or directly from the seller or not, or if anything has been tampered in between or not. So this information we should get it, and then we are very much interested. Instead of getting mobile phone, I should not get brick. So that's what my requirement. So definitely I should go for a label which will give an authenticity to me that it has come from the shop seller, or it has come from the factory to me directly. So we have the void labels, and then we are having a security. We used to call it a security portfolio. We have different kind of labels which can be printed also. And then once you are anybody is removing the label, there will be a traceability on that label, printed, sorry, pasted area, where we can able to understand that somebody has tampered this product. So these are all one of the fastest growing label sector. And then even though the volume will not be good, but if you consider the value and other things, it will be good in this revenue point of view. We have a lot of products in digital, and then whatever the products which we are developing nowadays for the digital sector. So this particular product will be compatible for your HP Indigo also, because it is an entirely different kind of printing technology, and then it will be useful for the other technologies also. So the product which we are having right now and then listed here, so all this product is compatible for HP Indigo, and then this product you can able to print it in HP Indigo without any corona treatment or any top coat or any other priming is required for this particular product. It is ready to print in HP Indigo technology, and we have sizes also which is compatible for your HP Indigo machines. How we used to work with the OEMs like HP Indigo and other manufacturers, machinery manufacturers. So we used to collaborate with them, and then we used to jointly work with them, and to qualify the products, and then we used to test the product in their machine, and we used to get the certification also. There are a lot of certification in progress with HP Indigo specifically. And the products which is available in other regions which is compatible for HP Indigo, that also we used to bring it to India, and then we started selling that also in India. And so, once it is grown, then we used to go for the localization, production and other things. So thanks once again to everyone, and hope this information will be useful for all of you.
Romba Nandri, Murli sir. Excellent. Excellent. That was most interesting. A lot of takeaways. The demand trajectory for PS segment is quite interesting, especially for digital. And then that data that you shared about the digital sheet market growing at 25% CAGR, in spite of COVID and the shift, etc. is again one to dwell deeper into. I'll probably call you after this session is over and pick your brains for more. I love the innovations. I request that whenever you have time, Avery has time, you do a masterclass. Prefabricated pouches, drum label applications, shipping carton labels. I mean, innumerable thing. You were going as fast as the Rajdhani, so difficult to keep pace with you. Yeah, you need to do a full day masterclass. But yes, Romba Nandri, thank you very much for this, eye opener in a way. With that, we shift from Chennai to Delhi. And our next speaker, before I introduce him, I mean, the best way to introduce him, in fact, is to ask that what do the following have in common? Grupo Cottonons in Milan, Arjo Wiggins in UK, Nina Paper in the US, Arctic Paper in Sweden, Hansol Paper in South Korea. Well, the common quotient in all this is Sona, and our next speaker, that is Anub Gharma. The official, again, bio says that he has 20 years of expertise in product categories and marketing, business development, etc. He's working in New Delhi, a specialty paper company, Sona Fine Corporation, and he heads marketing and business development for India as well as UAE region. I know Anup because of the wonderful work he does behind the scene with the Sona calendars, plus of course a kind of outreach that he and Sona have been able to achieve with designers and creators as well as agencies, etc., and instrumental in ensuring that how the message of specialty paper or fine art paper has spread across the subcontinent, and of course also in the UAE. So he's sort of one of those mission impossible persons who's spreading the good word about paper. So one always loves the work that he does. So anyway, welcome Anup, welcome, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Ramu sir, and thank you so much for the wonderful introduction. Good evening and my greetings to all the audience this evening. I thank PrintWeek team and HP team for inviting me to this wonderful talk show today. to share whatever knowledge I have gained, I have learned over the period of time through my customers, through my colleagues. Thank you so much for giving this platform. About Sona, we have a paper. We expertise in selling fine papers. We are in the paper business since almost last 57 years. The company was started by our founder chairman, late Mr. Amarnath Suneja, and though we started purely with the commodity paper, since last 27 years, we are purely into fine paper merchanting now, fine paper trading, with the able leadership of Mr. Sanjay Suneja, Mr. Raju Suneja, and Mr. Sandeep Suneja. So we have a tremendous back support from the amazing management team, and we have kind of reached pinnacle in our industry. Our expertise is to tell the brand story in a better manner. That is what our designer friends says so. And we have amazing collection of paper mills relationship with us, right from Grupo Coordinance from Italy, Nina from UK, Lenzing Paper from Austria, Inspur M from South of Korea, Arjo Wiggins from America, Munkin from Sweden, and Hansel from again South of Korea. So these are the prominent brands we are working very closely with. We are proudly representing these brands in the Indian subcontinent. To start with, yes, paper is more than simply a mechanism to communicate a message. It is an expressive material that can make or break a given project. So as I said, we tell brand story in a better manner. Every brand, have some story to tell. So those story has to go to the target audience in a proper manner, and we have amazing paper to collaborate with the brand ethos of the companies. So we are working very strong in that domain. So I strongly feel that we are amongst the three pillars of a print communication. One being design, one being printing, and of course we stand as the third pillar, which is paper, which is very critical. Let's see some of the fact which is actually a growth driver in the future, as Ashok also shared some wonderful point in his presentation. So in spite of the turbulent time, the growth prospect of the paper and board consumption remains intact. In fact, what Ashok shared, which is quite true, all new and upcoming startup companies, they have actually opened a lot big market space for all of us, whether it is short run print domain or fine paper like we. So we expect the paper, the growth of the paper consumption to grow at a 6 to 7% per annum in years to come. As Ramu sir also said that the per capita consumption in India, what is the fact? What are the driver? What are the growth drivers that one should look at? Yes, the per capita consumption in India is as low as 15 kg right now compared to the average global consumption of 57 kg, and in some of the European countries it is also 200 plus kg. So we have a big space to grow. Right now we are standing at 15 kg per capita consumption. The Indian paper and paper product market is projected to grow from 8.6 billion in 2018 to $13.4 billion by 2024, as per the latest CAGR. Ramu sir also highlighted this very nicely. So Indian economy is definitely on the very faster growth track. Hence the consumption pattern in India will see a sharp rise for sure in time to come. The segment is also expected to increase the market. This is very important. Especially tier 2 and tier 3 market is seeing a good rise in consumption of the print or paper as well. So we have a phenomenal experience over there as well. Some more insight, more and more startup, fashion, automobile, premium perfume, mobile companies are coming up, and there is strong competition to compete in the visual communication. See, what is happening that any startup company, they need a very strong visual communication that can influence the target audience, and paper and the print on those paper will play a crucial role in time to come. That will become a differentiator. the growing perception of the impactful integrated communication, which is tangible and virtual. We will discuss that at the later stage of our presentation. Startups, examples, tea seller, fashion boutiques, and e-commerce packaging will definitely going to make a bigger impact in future market. Real estate has come back, especially in southern part of the country, western part of the country, and northern as well. So real estate will be a biggest consumer of specialty paper, fine paper, and digital print machine as well. Paper manufacturing technology, there's a lot of advancement also in recent time, in last 1 decade, in terms of paper manufacturing technology and print technology, which has kind of really enhanced the design expectation of the designer and specifier. It has really helped them. Digital print has taken away the fear of budget and cost and opens the gate for fine paper. So most of the time, it happens that if a new brand is launching a new product in the market, they don't want to go for a bigger run of print collaterals. So they have option now. They can go with a shorter run, and they can use a good quality paper, and they can go with all sort of print, post print treatment, which can enhance their brand in self life, in the self cluster. There is also a fantastic, opportunity for colored paper market in future. According to the Indian Paper Manufacturing Association, the market size of the Indian paper and paper board market was 16.1 million tons in 2019. And post-pandemic, it has increased by 200% from the previous year, and it has risen from 4.3 kg per person per annum to 8.6 kg per person per annum. So this we are seeing a vertical growth in that segment. This will create a big space for all of us. One of the major application of the colored paper board is the rigid boxes. I'm going to show a lot of examples in my presentation. Folding cartons, due to their stiffness, due to their rigidity and their toughness, and fine paper provides very good options to designers. It is actually a delight to the designers, because designers can play with the colors, they can play with the tactile touch and feel of the paper. They have unlimited options to play with. The colored paper market is unorganized. That is also one of the biggest reason we see that in future we are going to see a big market. The market is going to organize, and we will see a good growth in time to come. Sona has the highest supply of SKU in that colored paper market segment. We have close to 300 plus SKU in especially color segment market, which is phenomenal. And keeping all the stocks of those SKU is something which Sona only can do. Organized retail is going to play a bigger role, especially with the startups, as Ashok also mentioned in his presentation, that all the startups, they are focusing very on all those minute details, especially when they are putting their product on the retail shelf. So over there, the packaging is going to play a crucial role, and we see a major role to play as a fine paper seller. Colored paper market in a premium fine paper has seen a phenomenal growth in last few years. Segment like stacks and paper, separator, envelopes, rigid box, they all have, we have colored paper, which is that starts from 150 GSM. We have a paper that 750 GSM papers also. So we have a wide ranges of grammage variations also that can be very well utilized by the designers and the brand owners. Brand key demands is what is the key demand that brand look forward to? They have a big expectation from paper suppliers like us, because brand cannot compromise to change their paper after every 3 months or 6 months or a year. So consistency plays a very strong role, very important role here. So Sona has always stood up to the expectation of the brands in last few years, ever since we started. So our consistency is our core strength. The color, the kind of color ranges that we have, right from deepest of black or whitest of white, amazing color ranges that we have, and brand love to flip through those colors range, and they love to experiment their design on those colors paper. The feel and touch, the tactile feel and touch, the texture, everything, we are going to talk about that at the later stage also. Work as value added papers. So special paper add value to the brands, to their packaging, to their collaterals. We have a strong collections of paper to add value to the brand identity. Yes, for many, digitization has impacted print industries by a wide margin, though information gained through the digital media proves to be responsive and immediate. There is no doubt on that. But when it comes to processing, touch and feel, and acting upon the information, paper still reads the supreme over digital media. Let's uncover the answer about this often overlooked aspect of the fine paper relationship with the brand. So in a premium category, the strong captivating print pieces shall help build brand stronger connection with the target. Substance or papers are crucibles of creativity, and Sona is a key enabler in that domain, very proudly. So that was a bit about the market scenario and about what Sona can offer. So let's look at some of the print applications where we are playing a very crucial role along with the designers and converters and specifiers in the industry. These are business card, branded packaging, labels and shopping bags, tags and label, brochure, magazines, newspapers, signages, stationery, greeting cards and invitations, calendar, posters, menu. So paper is more than simply a mechanism to communicate a message. It is actually an expressive material that can actually make a brand or break a brand. So what are the important factors that which generally designer look up to, or print converter look up to? Paper thickness. This is a very crucial aspect of any print setup, because paper thickness sometimes creates, I mean, if you have a very strong desire, if you have a desire for a very thick range of paper to print upon, so sometimes it is very tough. It acts as a stubble to get into the print machine. Sometimes if paper is very thin, then also you have a problem. So we work very closely with the brand. We work very closely with the converter to understand their demand. It's not that we just go and sell the paper. We understand their demand, we understand their need, and then based on their need, we offer the ranges of paper that we have. Sometimes even we come across with a situation where converter says that we need 450 GSM paper to print a tag, or 500 GSM paper to print a tag. How can we print that? So they have no choice but to go with the pasting option. So we have an edge over there. We have a paper ranging from 450 GSM paper. We have paper which is also 700 GSM paper. So that way we are giving a very great solution to all the converters. Show through, this is a very critical area, especially designers and advertising agencies. They face a tough situation here, especially when they are working with the high rendered images. For example, coffee table books or catalogs for real estate. So good quality paper with a very strong opacity nature plays a vital role, and fine paper have a very strong edge over rest of the paper over there. Sometimes printers play some tricks to overcome this situation, but that really doesn't help. So fine paper is a very good option in that segment because of its good bulk and opacity. Touch and feel, it is very important again, especially when one is working with the premium brands, because a genuine touch and feel offers a genuine tactile experience. We have a paper which is inspired by human skin. We have a paper which can actually give a feel of sand. So designers have option to play with that. Brands love to play with their designs and for their collaterals. So touch and feel actually, tickles your senses. It tickles, making very, purpose of the brand for a successful and impactful feel. The most important part of our range of paper is its homogeneity in the nature, whether it is homogeneity in terms of formation of the paper, or homogeneity in terms of color spread on the paper. So that way our range of papers are very consistent, and that is why brands love to work with us. The paper which I was talking about, it's called the sand field textured paper, that's called matter. On the very first touch, one will have a very intrigue and rough, and on the very second touch, you will feel that okay, you're holding something which is very sandy in nature, and that's a very interesting area. The color of the substrate again is a very crucial factor in our segment, especially again when we are working with the specifier and the designers, because we have a paper ranges which is as I mentioned that we have brightest white, we have deepest black, we have papers which have a pastel range of shades with them, we have paper which are we have a vibrant range of color range of paper that can be played in multiple way. We have a very good collections of textured paper, and there has been a very good demonstration of print capabilities of HP, especially on those textured paper, because other machines have played couldn't exhibit a good performance on those paper, but HP have exhibited a wonderful performance on those papers, especially papers like Dali and Modi Giuliani, which have linear texture and which have hammer texture. So these again textured papers are delight for the designers and the brand owners. They love to play on those textured paper for their print collaterals. Sustainability, as Ashok also mentioned in his presentation, is going to play a vital role in time to come. Luckily, we are a part of that industry, and paper industry in last 1 decade has taken significant steps. There are some of the significant steps that paper industry also has taken to curb the energy control. With all those advanced and modern technology, energy consumption has actually come down by nearly 20% in paper production. Paper consumption, water consumption has reduced from 200 cubic meter per metric ton to 50 cubic meter. So that is a phenomenal achievement that modern technology, even in the production of the paper, has achieved, and we are very proudly conveying all these messages to the environment conscious brands. Pulps are coming from the managed forest. There is a large degraded lands that are being selected to produce pulp. There is no harm to the planet. All the pulps are coming from the managed forest. So packaging is the next future, as all other our previous speaker also said that the packaging is our next future, and packaging, sustainable packaging starts the design process with the end in mind. So this is very crucial when we are working, especially with the influencer, specifier, designers. So we keep end in the mind. That is what they also look up to. So this is just a visual representation of how packaging has evolved over the period of time. Packaging plays a large role in the perceived value of a product as a whole. We all know that. So what are the key points that especially when we are working with the premium category, premium segment? So other than the logical factor or factual factors, there is something called emotion that plays a bigger role in our industry, especially when you are working in a luxury domain. So it is not logical, it is emotion that plays a vital role in taking a decision. Well, we all are living with Generation G era. It is an era of unboxing, where all our young generations are flaunting their unboxing moment over social media and all. So packaging is going to capture all of it. So now I'm going to give you some examples of how we have been working very closely with all the brands in recent time. Like for example, Samsung S22. This was launched recently, and we have worked very closely with the branding team, their agencies. Uh, the reason why they choose these range of paper, because this color of the phone, they wanted the packaging to match with the color of the product, which is phone. So we had in our color range, we had a colored paper which is from Key Color Arjuvigins, which is called port wine. That's the name of the paper, and they clubbed that with skin black paper of Arjuvigins, and that's how it came out, and it was a big success for the brand and agencies also. So we got a lot of applause from the agencies on that. We have worked in the past with the Amazon also, because working with Amazon was also a great challenge, because Amazon is a virtual domain, and how are you going to sell paper to that? So the objective was to create a
We lost Anup.
Yes, sir. It's look like that.
Okay.
I think we lost him.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
some network challenge was there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Anup has come back.
we heard
Yeah.
their
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Carry on.
yeah, sorry. So we heard that, and then we came up with a solution. This is how it looked like. So in the what were the most crucial thing in that? So in a gift giving experience, there are two customers. One is gift giver and one is gift recipient. So for gift giver, it is very important, because it is he is going to give a compliment to the receiver, and for receiver also, it is a very big moment, because he thinks that the sender has given that much of importance to us. So that was how we worked with the agency, and we gave them a paper solution from our paper range of Arjuvigins, which is matter range of paper, which gives that tactile feel of sand. So they were very happy with the sensory touch and feel of the product. And this is another beautiful example with Jack Daniels. The task was to elevate the premium shelf presence of the Jack Daniels gift box, and designers was excited by the idea of dyed through board. But the designer had in the mind to have a go with the full bleeds on both the side, back and front. But the edges, since he was working with the SBS board, the edges turn out to be the white. So that is where the challenge erupted. So we came into the picture, and then we offered a black range of paper, and with the modern print technology, which HP and other printing machines are offering. So we gave a kind of solution to Jack Daniels, and this is how it came out from what they had, and black is what they created with our range of paper. This is also very recent examples. This is done by one of the very senior graphic designers in Delhi only. This is for a startup company, startup restaurant company, and the task was to give a solution to the brand for something which can cover the that aluminum packaging from the top. And the challenge was that paper has to be food compatible. So we have a paper which is Munkin from the Munkin brand. It is lead-free paper. So designer was delighted to hear that, and the moment he got to hear about that the paper is a lead-free, so he quickly adopted the paper in his packaging format, and this is how it looks. Very interesting stories, and the whole range of brand identity, the brand stationery, everything was adopted with this Munkin range of paper because of its eco-friendly nature. So I will leave you all with these couple of glimpses of recent job that we have done with all the big brands, and This is a recent examples of BMW calendar. Rigid boxes. We are working very closely with all the rigid box manufacturer, and they are happy to use our range of paper, especially the colored. So we are very strong. We see a very good market scenario for rigid box, especially with the startups. Catalogs, envelopes, carry bags, and whatnot. Thank you so much, Ramu sir. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to share my viewpoint with the audience.
Thank you. Thank you. Most wonderful, especially applications. Maja aa gaya. बहुत ही ज़्यादा मजा आ गया. You mentioned in your presentation about 200% leap in colored paper market, right? This is only for offset, or it's offset digital, and it's what?
No, sir, this is for across the vertical.
Okay.
You see, as Ashok also mentioned that, all the startup companies. So I feel a very strong and brighter future with these color range of papers, because the designers, they want to work, with all these cosmetic papers and all these beautiful papers. But just because of the budget, they had to step down, because the purchase manager never allows that.
Sure.
Now with these all short run capabilities that all these printing machines are offering, they have a good option to go with these range of paper now.
Got it. Got it. So wonderful applications, and also it's very nice to see that designers, agencies are benefiting from this availability of paper and optimizing the substrates for production. What I mean, for example, that lead-free that you showed with the food packaging, and even Arjo begins with the Samsung brand, fabulous. What I want to know from you, I'll go to Ashok and Murli sir as well, is in terms of delivering superior results. How good are fine grade on digital machines? I mean, things like are we getting the kind of premium quality that we get in offset, number one? And what about speed of machine? If you can just address that.
Well, there used to be a time where people used to really fear to put all these papers on their machine. When this digital print domain started the business. But nowadays, I don't see any challenge. We are working very closely with all the HP setup. We are working very closely with other brands also. So we don't see any challenge, and they are delightfully using all these papers.
Sure. And there's one question that's coming from the audience. This is by Mr. Raghu. He asks, does Sona, obviously he means your principles, do you manufacture sustainable, eco-friendly paper? So if you can just take that.
Yeah, in fact, all of our paper ranges are sustainable, eco-friendly papers. As I mentioned in my presentation also, all the pulps are coming from the managed forest. And there is a huge control in terms of water consumption, in terms of electricity consumption. So all papers conforms to the all those sustainable parameters. So yes, these all papers are environment friendly paper.
Sure. So Mr.
Also we are FSC certified company, and all the papers brands are also certified. So that also adds.
Super. Yeah. There's a follow-up question he has, which I'll save for later. Murli sir, I'll come to you. A lot of interesting numbers, as I mentioned, you crunched market for digital cut sheet, web presses, and you mentioned a number which says 20 million A4 prints per month. And this is as per Avery's internal survey, and the numbers for PS labels are also looking rather bullish. My question is, I mean, numbers are fabulous. Ultimately, it needs to translate into on-ground action. So two parts to this question. When will this traction happen in India? And what is Avery's plan of action or blueprint to drive this traction or transition?
Okay. So actually, we started this particular division, like focusing on division and digital around 2014.
Okay.
So in 2014, we started only with the two products, which is very basic commodity product, kind of semi-gloss finish and then mirror coated finish of face top. And post to that, we started running into the market to get with. Actually, previous to that, what will happen? People used to buy the larger format sheets, and then they used to cut it and then use it in digital machines in the year 2013-14 beginning and all. And we found that, okay, there is an upcoming market which is started growing in the PS segment. So we started focusing on from 2014 end onwards. And we started with the 2 products, as I told you, and then now we are having close to 19 products with us. And we are closely working with the market, and then we address the requirement of the printer, and then we used to discuss a lot of end users, and then the print buyers who are coming for the print houses to get the printed stuffs and other things. So we used to interact with them, and then we used to collect the information from them, and we used to plot the requirements clearly. And we used to go to our R&D center, and then we are developing the products and then continuously supplying to the market. Sure. And this is one way which we are doing in the market. And the other side, we used to discuss with HP Indigo kind of OEMs also. And they used to have some specific requirement for the top code. And then the material should be compatible for the printing in their machine also. So that also we used to address it parallelly.
Sure, got it. Ashok, coming to you, enjoyed your presentation. Towards the end, you spoke about color gamuts.
Right.
So for me, that was interesting, especially with 6 color and all the embellishments, such as metallic, spot varnish, etc. So question for you is this extra option or standard feature?
Okay. So so we have 3 categories that we operate into, 3 segments rather we operate into. We operate into commercial printing category, which is GCP printers. We operate into label and packaging, and we operate into niche market like publishing and others. And although the print engine remains the same, right, but the requirement of the industry from an application perspective may have a difference. Sure. From a basic technology, every Indigo press is a 7-color press. Right, which means 4 colors plus 3 additional color, and the sheet fed presses has some of the additional 3 colors that we can actually load onto the press. And these are very special colors like silver ink, digital matte, clear inks. And with these 3 more stations, which is put onto the press, we can actually do a bit of embellishment on the press on the fly itself. Okay. So which means I need not to go to any offline or an inline process, because I can actually do it on my press itself. So silver ink with the CMYK, I can produce close to around 250 metallic shades, the real metallic shades. Base coat is silver. On top of it, with CMYK, I can create 250 real metallic shades on the press, on the fly itself. And with the digital and the clear ink, definitely the tactile effect and the watermarks and other applications can be a part of the whole one pass process onto the press. So sure. this is availability is there depending upon the model. We can say it is on the press or we can go offline. That's part number 1. Second is for us, Ramu sir, the simple philosophy that HP works is in terms of creating a complete ecosystem for a customer, which means we collaborate with the pre-press suppliers or the software solution suppliers. We join hands with the media companies, like what we have is Sona Papers today, and and Avery Dennison, and then we have third-party finishing suppliers with us. So we join hands and we work with them for a one particular application. And this one particular application, if some customers is looking for me, or if he comes back to me that I need this application to be printed, we can actually give end-to-end solution to them. So this is another way. So in that context, sometime the third-party certified solutions can become a part of a complete solution as well.
Nice. Yeah. Just a follow-up, I'm going to put you on the spot, and apologies in advance if this is going to make it a little awkward for you. So I visited one of your customers. He prints on an HP Indigo. I won't mention the name for obvious reasons, directly on laminate. I think it's a WS6900, if I'm not mistaken. Right. Has a ABG finishing, varnish, foil, slitting, rewinding. So I want to know, is this sort of a de facto feature that you need to add to the machine, or there are permutations for combinations?
Correct. Yeah. So in our label and packaging part of an industry, we are trying to create a solution around the end applications, right? And these solutions are primarily in HP Indigo, along with inline, nearline, offline finishing solution. And we have this finishing solution which we have already classified and certified with many of the big finishing suppliers worldwide, whether it is ABG or GM or many of the finishing suppliers are there. And we do, we have a 3 innovation center, right, around the world. Right, we have one in Singapore as well, where we do all these exercise with the third party, the finishing supplier as well. So to answer your question, depending upon the applications, we certify media, we certified finishing, but at the end of the day, for the customer is a one single solution, whether it is inline, offline, nearline. Answer is yes, it can be given to him.
Got it. Okay, I think what I was wanting to ask is, basically standardization tools, because I mean, obviously
Right.
we are looking at high value, high innovation, high, all these, boxes which we need to tick. So for example, if you're looking at 3D simulation, artwork approvals, color management, etc., so that when that final print stage comes, that part of the, the equation gets a little simplified. So in that sense, what are the standardized tools, and are they sort of de facto built into the machine now, or again these are the little things that you have to add on to the to the process?
Okay.
Yeah.
So from a pre-press perspective, right,
Yeah.
we have some of the tools which are de facto into the machine.
Okay.
Right, the color engines and color calibration. For those, we have already as a de facto of the machine. And from a finishing perspective, for the embellishment post print, right, we can make it in line with the third party finishing supplier, or we have our own finishing also with us, which we are developing for label and packaging industry. And that's a one single line. So to give you an answer very specifically onto this, for label, we have a complete line with us, which can actually deliver, a final end product coming out of a one single line. So we call it as a label line, which includes pre-press, my indigo press, as well as a finishing, and we call it as a label line. For folding carton, we have a folding carton line. Right. And then in that case also, we have a pre-coat, we have a printing, we have a post-coat, which is OPVs. Right. And we work with and it's a one single line again. In commercial, we based on an application, we can suggest an inline solution. So in these 3 fashions, we can work.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Murli sir, there's a question for you from Devendra Kumar Pant. I haven't understood the question fully, but is Avery Dennison planning to come to NTR media business? If yes, then what is the timeline?
It's a I think he's asking for that non-tearable label. So it's existing with us. So it's not a new one. So it is already there with us. I don't know whether Mr. Devendra Kumar is asking for NTR with self-adhesive or without self-adhesive.
Got it.
And we have both the ranges already there with us.
Sure. So maybe Mr. Pant, you can probably directly connect with Mr. Murli or somebody from the Avery team. There's a question for both Anup and you, which is again a slightly awkward question, but this is about the burning issue of paper shortage or whatever, substrate shortage. Question is quite blunt. How long will it continue, and the price issue? So if you can just at least respond to Mr. Raghu's question. Yeah.
I think Anup will be better person to address this question, sir, better than me.
Sure. Ji.
Anup, you are
on mute. Yeah.
I think in current scenario, I'm sorry. I think in current scenario, it depends on how soon Mr. Putin puts an end to the war. Because most of the pulp supplier are from Ukraine and Russia. So it is impacting a lot.
Okay. Ashok, I'm coming to you about innovations. You shared a lot of innovations in your presentation. My question, and again, I'm going to sort of say something rather controversial, is that if you look at, say, inkjet as well as LEP, which is HP Indigo's liquid electrophotographic technology, is there a possibility in the near future of toner being displaced and inkjet and LEP being the preferred digital print platform? I mean, Drupa got deferred this time, but I think this was going to be one of the hot topics which we would see play out at Drupa, is what I was told by the print gurus. So if you can again answer that. Yeah.
Correct. So I'll put it this way, Ramu, is for both our technology, which is the HP Indigo, which is an electro ink, and inkjet, right? The philosophy that we work is the high value, high growth, profitable markets.
Sure.
Right. And this is the domain that HP works. And we try and create those segments or applications into the market. And most of the time, we don't really, have a kind of a, competing technology onto those areas because, it is very specific to an applications and end-to-end solutions. So to answer the questions, two big changes that we are looking forward, in coming years to come. One is, of course, a big shift from analog to digital, which means the print which is coming out of an offset today because of the various reasons, the SKUs are going up, the quantities are going down, the short runs are increasing. We are looking forward from a big analog to digital conversion. And for those, we have actually developed a complete portfolio of our B2 presses, which is 15K as well as 100K. These are the sheet fed presses of same 73 centimeters, 53 by 73 centimeters. And these presses can sit next to the shop floor against an offset, and we can try and do the load balancing as well as the cost optimization on a shop floor with this B2 platform. So we are expecting a large analog to digital conversion, which can definitely can happen with these two models, which is 15K as well as the 100K. The 100K is the new model that we are launching in India, which has got a higher speed in a B2 size of a format, close to around 6,000 Cs per hour, which can definitely have an impact onto the conversions going faster and creating that market for us. That's a one market segment that will operate. Second market for us is high value market, which we have, which Anup has spoken to us today, which is, very high, fine papers, colored papers with special inks, with a lot of textures effect onto it, along with Murli, which is, a label market, which is a sheet fed label market, but it is not primarily a commodity, chromo art, gum sheets or sticker or a label. This is beyond paper. This is like, we have a synthetics, we have a PE, we have a, very interesting performance, labels that we are talking with them. With those markets coming into picture, we are kind of trying to capture this whole startup portfolios by giving them this solution as a differentiation to create their scale growth for them. Right. So in that scenarios, we are looking forward for niche, but high value market again, catering to those requirements.
Got it. I think we're sort of also fast running out of time, but Murli sir, I'm going to ask you a question about learning curve. Whatever was shared over the last 90 minutes now, quite a bit, and the learning curve is pretty steep. So there are two aspects. One is the learning curve and one is the forgetting curve. This is a question for all three of you actually, Anup, Murli and Ashok. So to Murli, it is about if you can share with our delegates an update of what's happening at the Avery Innovation Center in Pune, outskirts of Pune rather, and what you're doing at this center and how, in what way is this actually benefiting the Indian graphic art and label industry?
Yes, sir. So actually we have a training calendar. Month on month, we used to have a training for the people, those who are interested to know about the label conversion and then to understand about the materials which we are supplying for the label industry, how they need to select a material for that particular application. So these are all the kind of workshop which we used to have it for 2 days. One day we used to conduct it as a theoretical session, and the next day we used to do the conversion. Also, we have a facility in the center. We used to convert it and then show to the people. Also, we have a pre-press, press, and then post-press activities also, including the label dispensing, which is happening auto applicator with auto applicator. So all the facilities are there. It is we are giving it as an support to this industry by training the people. And if they want to train their operator also, they can able to send to our center and then they can get it trained. And apart from that, if people are bringing any new applications and new requirements, so that we can able to develop in that center, we have a new product development center also, which is inbuilt in that ADAKC. So we can able to develop the product and then give it to them also.
Got it. I remember seeing long ago, Delta Airlines tagged the work that was done with that, and for traceability of baggage, to prevent baggage loss, which I thought was fantastic. So just a quick follow-up, Murli, is there a cost to this whole thing, or is the knowledge shared free?
It's very nominal cost.
Nominal, yeah.
2,000 to 3,000 rupees will be the charge.
Agreed, yeah. But you'll be surprised, somewhere, I mean, we all pay obeisance to Saraswati, but we are refusing to invest any Lakshmi into somehow, I don't know. Anup, you want to add a Sona perspective? I know there was a gallery in Delhi. I'm not sure what the status is due to COVID.
Yeah. So I think very rightly put by Murli. I think training and knowledge sharing is very critical for everyone. Even as a matter of fact, Sachin Tendulkar and even Mr. Bachchan also, before every shot they do a lot of practice. So I guess the problem arises when people say that I know everything, I don't need learning, I don't need new technology updation. So that is where that become hazard to all of us. I guess we should have that training and learning period in our regular session, and Sona, we are very strong in that area. We have a very rigorous training and learning process and knowledge sharing, and we have a lot of knowledge sharing session for the industry also. Like for example, that we have that live wire talk show. We are doing that. We do breakfast meet also. So there's a lot of knowledge sharing session we keep doing. We don't charge for that.
Sure. Ashok, I know that you've been doing some work on the virtual platform in terms of a centralized learning platform for both digital employees as well as business owners. So again, this curriculum, the platform, how you're training, if you can use this platform to share an update about that.
Absolutely. Two things, one is, of course, we are kind of doing this activity for quite a long time now, and we call it as a Center of Excellence, or COEs. And we have our COE, one COE, which is based out of Singapore. And we have many customers and brands who have already visited that COE. The COE is a full, knowledge center where everybody understands the applications, the strength of an application in terms of business viabilities, and who is doing it and how it is done. Correct. So basically, this is portrayal of one business model as an application, and it's a beautiful gallery system that we have. And we tried and replicating, the same in India as well. So we have one COE which is already there in Chennai with our partner Reddington. And this is for the commercial category. And the second COE, again, which is coming up with another partner for label and packaging with Technova, which is about to come in Mumbai as well. So maybe a month, after from that, we have a COE which we have created for brands, for agencies, as well as for the customers or the printers. Please utilize this facility which is created for you. So that's my humble request to each and everyone. Sure. And as you rightly said, today is the word of phygital, which is physical and digital word, right? So I just can't survive with the physical appearance. So what we have is, we have actually come up with one of the learning tool on a virtual platform, which we call it as designcircle.com. This is the, just give me a second. I'll just try and show it onto the screen. So if you can see this is the domain that we have developed along with one of the, again, the creative agency called Creative Gaga, which is designcircle.in. And this is the domain where we want to continue, we want to reinforce the continuous learning by information at your disposal, right, on a virtual platform. So this is what we have. This is a print circle, designcircle.in. And in this, you will find each and every discussion that we have done in last few months and the following next months. Plus, there are a lot of webinars, information, podcast, which is then there are a lot of case studies, which is there, a lot of tutorials. So what we tried doing here is, we tried creating one single platform for all information that a designer or a customer or a prospect is looking forward to related to the commercial, print industry. So I would urge, the participants here, we will share this with you as well. Yeah. And we expect more and more audience to come onto this and help us with the feedback to improve this content sharing with them.
Yep. Looks good. I'm going to sort of culminate just two very quick questions. We may not have time to respond in detail, but you could maybe just, so again, both the questions are from Mr. Raghu. One is to Ashok. This is the standard question, print prices, offset versus digital. What is the cost, cost point for both converters and customers? Can you explain, and how much more, what is the kind of cost differential we are looking at?
Sure. So what we can do, Ramu, is maybe I can connect with Mr. Raghu, right, with email ID, because that's a larger discussion which I want to do with him, and I will get in touch with him.
Super. And the second question is for you, Murli. I think it's similar to that the Delta attack thing that I was telling you for loss luggage, but It's related to RFID, that RFID is having a great market in the coming days. Can you explain how it is integrated into the scan and tracking system?
Yeah, I think I need to connect Raghu sir separately. It will be close to half an hour session. I can able to arrange a session also for him, because there are a lot of integration to be happen between the inlay and inlay itself. There are a lot of varieties, and then how to scan. So all those things are there, sir.
Absolutely.
But it is as you mentioned. So it is an fastest growing and then upcoming business in this particular sector. So definitely I can arrange a session for him separately.
Super, super. Yep, I think we are good to sort of conclude this wonderful session. Any final thoughts from all three of you?
Next
6 months. So, sorry, please proceed.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to sound that across to all our audience also, that we have a beautiful experience center opened in Delhi, as you mentioned. That's called Pulp Society, where all the design fraternity, they're welcome to come to my facility. They can come, they can utilize my media, they can do serigraphic work, anything that they wish to do, and they can utilize that space.
Right. और दिल्ली में कहाँ है अनूप जी, वो भी बता दीजिए।
ये ओखला में है, हमारे हेड ऑफिस में ही है।
जी।
We have a beautiful setup there.
Sure. And Ashok, this the other experience center in Mumbai, this is in Rabale, right? The one that you were mentioning.
Yeah, so this we are going to, so we have another, we have two partners in India. One is Reddington, and we have joined hands with Technova as well for label and packaging. And we are coming up with that center, and I will share the complete information with the address as well.
Super. Yeah. Last thoughts, Ashok, Murli, Anup, next 5 months, 6 months, bullish. What should we expect in just like 30 seconds each if you have?
Very much bullish. Very much bullish, and we are eagerly looking forward to this year.
Right.
We are very my team is very much ignited.
Right. And will you be at PrintPack? And if yes, what will you be
showcasing?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Murli sir, PrintPack.
Yeah, we are also there. Yes, sir.
Super. Ashok.
Yeah, we are at a PrintPack, and we would definitely send the communication. My only request, so we want to see this commercial print industry as a bullish in terms of an activities onto the shop floor. Right. But in this, I definitely humble request to every participant here is we have a separate development team, which we call as a market creation team or a business development team that can actually work with you to create a projects for your brand. See, at the end of the day, we have spoken about bigger brands, smaller brands, startup brands. These are the brands who are, who are a bread and butter for us. They are the guys who give me a business. And at any point of a time, we are happy. We have a lot of content that we can actually, give you where you can discuss it out with the brands. So my only request to you, I want to see after this, webinar that, we have few inquiries which is coming to us where we are connecting with the brands and we are creating a business, for a converter or, printer. That's where I want to see, that activities along with us and along with, every Denison and Sona as well, to create those value into the market, turning into revenues and profits.
I totally agree with you, Ashok, on that. In fact, I was also about to suggest that Ramu sir, we should do some collaborative, shows and talk shows like this in future also, or maybe in some other form also. We should collaborate with each other because the market is very buoyant right now, and we alone cannot, capture the market. We need to do hand holding to each other.
Yeah. Got it.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That was most wonderful. Lots and lots of ideas which you shared, and you were most sort of generous in your sharing. So since you were generous, let me also share. I know, Ashok, you mentioned a lot of startups. I'll just quickly rattle off for the remaining delegates a few interesting startups which were, caught our eye in the last week. One is a company called Eco-Right, which is in Ahmedabad. I'm just sharing these names because sometimes we just don't know what is out there, and the kind of work that is happening out there is absolutely astonishing. Eco-Right is basically a sustainable lifestyle brand, and they, work a lot with recycled plastic bottles. And what is most interesting is that they're already catering in India, US, UK, EU, and Japan. So again, just a fabulous story. And somewhere I always feel that this is something the connect can happen. Another very, very interesting company that we've come across from Bangalore is Go Desi. They make regional packaged food. And again, mainly catering to millennial customers, Gen Z. And they have producing something like 5 million odd POPs. So POPZ is basically a fruit pulp on stick, and then it's covered with spice. So it's like a lollipop, but they do it. And then Again, they use the sort of Propel accelerator, etc. So basically indigenous product, global market kind of a thing. Then again, there's an interesting company, which is again a startup, but again, very interesting in terms of what they do with print and packaging collaterals, is a company called Green Cure. It's an Ayurvedic company, and it was launched to combine German engineering with Indian Ayurveda. Again, what they do with herbal science and Indian Ayurveda. So basically health solution packaging and print collaterals. Again, there's a company called Hathmik, where they work with 700 and odd farmer FPOs, basically farmer produce organizations, and procurement of these raw materials. And then the brand caters to million customers, because a lot of these items are required globally. So they have a base of about 10 million, but beautifully packaged again, and it goes out. Then there's another one. I'm just going to finish off with two more. There's a long list of about 200 that we have. IVEI, which is based in Uttar Pradesh. It's in Sitapur. This is again most unique because it's a design-led brand which creates utility products. So basically writing boards, pin boards, and desk organizers. So again, the kind of thing that Sona puts out there, IVI would be doing that. So basically a lot of these do it yourself for children who don't necessarily have cognitive skills. So combination of artists with, young children with open minds, and basically a new medium to get them to, work with educators, etc. Again, Master Chow is there, which is a premium D2C brand, direct to consumer. It's based in Delhi. And then again, it's a 3 billion ready to cook Asian market in India. So Asian flavor palettes, and again, a lot of label products and Asian flavors which they do, because they do it in multiple languages. So basically they cater, if I'm not mistaken, Dubai, Hong Kong, etc. So like I said, I mean, lots and lots of these stories out there. And somewhere I feel as an industry, we have, shuttered our vision to some extent and not, looked adequately. One other tip, because I know both, all three of you mentioned centers, but these are more technology centers. I'm going to be mentioning a more fun center. This is something created by the agency A&M. They have a coffee shop in Lower Parel called Famous Innovation. So Lower Parel, for those of you who are not from Mumbai, is the sort of, the Manhattan of, the new Manhattan of Mumbai. So this particular coffee shop is bang in the middle of that. Anyway, what's interesting is not the location of the coffee shop, but the fact that you have McCann there, you have Havas, you have Publicis, you have BBH. And the way this coffee shop works is that they offer free coffee or free something to anybody from the agency crowd. And I've always felt that this is a great opportunity for the, the crazy guys in the print industry to hang around with the advertising and marketing industry guys, and, just very casually leave your print collaterals on the table so that some agency guy picks it up and, that's the next marketing budget. So anyway, some thoughts. Again, lots of takeaways. Market is lucrative, bullish. Murli sir's presentation highlighted proliferation of digital presses, quadrupling that we are seeing from year on year. Growth is steady in labels, which all three of you pointed out. Segment has pioneered digital use, could accrue extra benefits. Business owners will need to select the right format digital presses, which is what you mentioned in your Q&A, Ashok, and also pay attention to finishing embellishment systems to add value, as well as prevent wastage. And all three of you spoke a lot about sustainability and green and controlling costs, controlling wastage. So yes, I think that sort of sums it up. It's almost 2 hours. Thank you very much, Ashok, Murli, Anup. Thank you very much, Sharmin. We've been tweeting live during this entire session, and thank you to all our delegates wherever you are, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.